Hey guys, welcome back to CollectioNeo. It's me, Alex, and we're creeping back into the Court of the Dead for a sneaky little review. This is not the 100th review. This is going to be a little side review concerning the Death premium format, as we have what is quite uncommon in the statue world, the collectible world. Well, not so much in the collectible world, but definitely in the statue world, as we have a sort of accessory pack. Now what we have here is the Aspects of Death. So this is a set of 3 masks for your Death premium format, or if you're not interested in Death himself but like the look of the mask, you can buy them and just display them as they are. As you can see, they all come on stands. But ideally, if you've got your Death premium format, you can remove each mask from the stand and put it on your PF for a varied display options. Now, there's one for each faction. So we've got Bone, Flesh and Spirit. Now, as you know, if you are into the Court of the Dead, Death is the all-taker. He created the court, he created that world, and he's kind of the, he's not to any faction, he's not loyal to any faction, he is the all-taker, he's overseeing everything. But of course, he has masks to represent each faction. So what we'll do is we'll go over each one. I'm not going to ramble on too much about the court. I've done plenty of other Court of the Dead videos going into lore and stuff, so check them out. But we'll go straight into each of these masks. Now, we'll get a bit close up. They all come in 3 parts. You've got your stand, you've got your hooded part, and then the actual mask itself. So what I'll do, I'll break them down and go over them. This set was $150 for all 3. I was lucky enough to have a coupon code, so I got $50 off, and I'm kind of glad I did. It was $51 shipping, and then import fees is about another 34 quid. So with the $50 off, this set's cost me about £150, which is okay. I'm okay at £50 a mask. That's not too bad, but if I hadn't had the $50 discount, I would have been a little less happy. But I'm kind of really into the court, and it's one of my main things that I continue to collect. So fuck it, it's only money. So let's start off with Spirit faction. How should we do this? Shall we let's move the camera slightly so you can see all my scratched off paint. So here's the Spirit faction. Now each mask comes in 3 pieces. So we've got a magnet there for attaching to Death's head. We'll go over that piece in a minute. And then you've got like the hood, which doesn't attach to Death, and as you can see, that's keyed in a specific way. So you've got you're not going to put your Spirit hood onto the Flesh stand. So we'll just go over the Spirit stand first. There's the bottom. All 3 have got the same bottoms. So as you can see on Spirit here, we've got energy effects of skulls wound in, which is very, very similar to what's going on in the mask. Winding up the shaft of the stand. All the bases are very, very nicely done, I've got to say. And then the hood for the Spirit, it's got like almost like a church feel. Little skulls sculpted in, of course. And it's got like quite a cloth texture, very soft. And like I say, that just let's go a bit further down actually. That just goes on there. I'll get your key the right way. Like that. That no magnet there, just clips on. And then you've got the mask itself. So this one's completely made of clear resin. You can actually see the magnet through there, which I think, to be honest, I think Spirit's probably the worst out of the 3. It's nice enough, and it's like I say, it's got this opaqueness. All the skulls in it. It's really light. I mean, it's made of a clear resin. very thin. It's had to be cast really thin to obviously fit on Death's face. It's nicely done. It's okay, you know. Should we rate each one? I don't really do ratings, but let's give this one a 6.5 out of 10. It's nice enough. I wish they'd done a better job of covering that magnet. It is really obvious. Even when it's on display, it's pretty obvious, which is a little bit of a shame. But you know, it's a nice piece. It's a nice piece. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think that the other two are better. So yeah, that was Transcending Vision, Spirit. We'll move on to Bone. This one is called Echo of Five Nails, which is probably one of the best names ever for anything. Now this one's got a really, really strong magnet. We'll do the mask after. We'll start again at the base. Again, just keys in. And because this is Bone Faction, we've got a lot of bones. Same base again. Then working up the stand. Very intricate. It's bones all the way. All of them have got like this copper look with like the blue etheria. All in the cracks and stuff, which marries up to a lot of the other pieces like Shard's base and Morticles. Then the hood, it's like a leather. So you've got stitching down the back. It's all curled under. Nicely textured. Pretty simple, but nicely textured. That goes, just sits back on. This one's a big, as you just saw, it's a big like Tiki? Yeah, it's a key in the shape of a T. Oh my god, I never thought this would be so difficult. So that just keys back on. And then the mask itself. So we've got all these skulls running at the side. Like I say, it is called Echo of Five Nails. So as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 nails. And then the fifth nail is this one here, which is more, you know, it looks like a fingernail. It's a very, very cool design. Very nicely done. All the textures are great. You know, these are very thin, light pieces, as to be expected. They are masks. But the paint and details are great. And that just, strong magnet, clips straight onto there. So the last one is Flesh. Now I am Flesh Faction. If you don't know your faction, go onto the Court of the Dead website and take the test. But I am Flesh Faction, and I've got to say this is my favourite one out of the three. Did I give the Echo of Five Nails a rating? I'll give Echo of Five Nails an 8. I'd like to give this one a 9.5. Nothing ever gets a 10, surely. So we've got the mask, which we'll go into in a minute. This one, like I say, this is called Poorest of Souls. We've got the hood. And then the base. Like I say, this is Flesh, and this is the most subtle one out of all the bases. It kind of looks like skin stretched over bone. See, this is almost like a spinal cord. But we've got all these bits of flesh stretched over it. The themes of each faction run through really, really well. And it's even got like the bend in it, like a spinal cord. The hood is very much a leather look, but it could also be a skin. Now we are talking flesh here, so it could be almost like it could be a skin, but it's like a leather, but nice stitching on it. I think this is the best hood out of the three. But where obviously where this one really shines is the mask. Let's just get that one pegged back on. So this is called Poorest of Souls. Now, I first saw this mask in one of the Court of the Dead comics, one of the first ones, which is Origins of Death. And he's actually wearing this, and I just thought they need to make that. So I was so happy when this came up. The details on this are fantastic. Every single person. We've got all skulls down the sides, and every single person is unique and individual. It's such a great mask. It's just everything that I love about the court. And especially the statues. Ridiculous details. It's a fucking great mask. And there's the back. But yeah, I adore that mask. So that's the 3 masks. Now, of course, you want to see them on Death. But what I'm just going to show you is if you have the exclusive version of Death, you get 2 masks. You get the Shepherd of Souls, which is the exclusive one, and his regular one, which I've completely forgot the name of. Now, if you've got the regular one, obviously you've only got this mask, and you want to put on your Poorest of Souls mask, so you take that off. And then your original mask will just fit back on. So you essentially, if you buy this pack, you're going to get a mask stand for your regular mask. But obviously, if you've got the exclusive, you're still a stand short, which is kind of a bummer. Hopefully, if they ever do another mask or anything, they just give us another mask stand. Just a basic stand with a hood. You know, they're all the same shape and magnet, because obviously they've got to be to attach to Death's head. So it would have been nice to have something extra, or even a couple extra. I really hope they'd do that, but I think I did ask on Sideshow Live and they considered it, but obviously it was too deep into production by then. So yeah, really, you're only going to be able to display 1 mask on the stand. So I always display my Shepherd of Souls, so that'll probably go on there, because I'm going to obviously be displaying Poorest of Souls. But what I'll do now, guys, I'll pause, I'll readjust the camera, we'll go up to Death's face, and I'll put each mask on for you. Back in a sec. Okay, guys, we're back. So I'm going to start with the Poorest of Souls. It's a very tall mask. Now, because they stupidly made this entire thing out of metal, my scythe is slightly sagging. I know, it is a worry. If it gets any worse, I will be contacting Sideshow, because I've hardly had this statue very long. It's not super worrying, but I think it's just my connection where it is. And to be honest, with this mask being so much higher, it does sort of touch. But yeah, I love that mask. I also think that mask fits the rest of the statue more. The others are very different colours to what we've got overall on the statue. The Spirit one kind of matches up with the base, but the Echo 5 nails, you know, the white, the stark white of it, looks very, you know, kind of a bit out of place on the statue. I'm not going to say it looks completely out of place. I think it's just because the rest of the colours, there's nothing like this on there. But it fits beautifully. And he does look fucking awesome, to be honest, in there. You know, I do think that this is the sort of thing that you are going to, you know, obviously going to display him with Death. And when you get a chance, you can just take one off and switch it up to whatever you feel like at the time. Like I say, even though I like Poorest of Souls the most, all 3 of them look good. And then Transcending Vision, which is Spirit. Again, very different, but I do like how dark it is at the bottom. So it literally looks like the the flames are like raising from the mask. They all look great. They really do. But yeah. Poorest of Souls is definitely the one for me. So I'm going to pause, guys. I'm going to go back down and then we'll finish up. So there you go, guys. 3 very, very different looks for your Death Premium format. I'm not going to say they're essential. I think the Death PF is a very good piece on its own. I know a lot of people kind of thought it was expensive and, you know, wasn't as grand as they wanted for Death. But like, if you ever read the comics, Death's quite a low-key character. He's not this all-powerful killing machine. He's very, very, I say, low-key and quite calm and, you know, wise. So these masks just add a little bit more to that overall mythos and lore. And, you know, obviously he's got certain relationships with each faction, and I think each mask shows that quite well. Like I say, not an essential thing, but I do think out of all the little Court of the Dead things they've put out, whether it's books or pins or things like that, I think these are great. It's nice to have a premium format accessory. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, but would you like to see more accessory packs? You know, maybe different bases, different switch outs, different heads later down the line. Does it matter if they don't announce things like that straight away? You know, these were announced way after the premium format came out. But then it works because they're doing these stands for all the other pieces. So, you know, if they did it for Marvel or DC, you know, if they say they did an artist pack head for Batman, where they did a Jim Lee head, a Finch head, you know, whatever, you know, would that sell? I think it would, because I know Prime 1 have done busts for their 1/3 statues, and they've had like a head that only comes with the bust that you can then put onto your statue. I do think it's a really cool idea, and it's it kind of gives your statue a bit more life, because as you know, once the statue's been sitting on a shelf for a year or so, you kind of, you know, you do start changing things up and start changing where it goes and things like that. And I think things like this can just give it that kind of oomph and that boost of life. I'm not a massive fan of lots of switch outs, which I've mentioned before. You know, a lot of them end up staying in the box. But when you've got little display stands like this, I think it's a necessity at this point. When they're offering, I mean, especially Prime 1, they're offering so many switch out heads and stuff. But I've seen their a couple of their Batman and Joker, I can't think which line it is, but they're offering headstands for every head, and there was the one headstand that you could put 3 heads in. I think it looks a little bit strange when you've got 3 heads stuck in a brick, you know, 3 Batman heads stuck in basically a brick wall. But something like this really, really works. You know, it's always been a long time thing for me that if include swap outs, make sure they can be used, or it's a definitive swap out. And I think sometimes, especially with XM and Prime 1, there's a lot of stuff that's just thrown in there for nothing. I mean, Prime 1, their regular heads and their exclusive heads are sometimes just a small smirk, as you'll probably see in a couple of reviews down from here, or maybe the next one. But yeah, I think this works brilliantly, and hopefully with the rest of the court, I know a lot of the new court pieces are having masks and going to have mask stands, but I'd like to see more of this, I really would. And I think Death's perfect for it. And would I buy another 3? Definitely. If they wanted to do, I don't know what they would do next, but actually, just going back, they actually released another one called Osine Unity, and that was just a mask on a stand, but you couldn't take the mask off. That was pretty cheap. I may pick that up at one point and, you know, do a mini review. This was going to be a mini review, but we're nearly at 20 minutes. But there you go, guys. That's Court of the Dead, Sideshow, Aspects of Death, Echo 5 Nails Bone, Poorest of Souls Flesh, and Transcending Vision Spirit. If you've got a Death premium format and you see these, pick it up. Pick them up. they're really fun, they're really cool, something different. Next review, guys, I don't know what it's going to be. I think this 100th review is just going to be whatever statue comes in next, which is looking like it might be a certain Asgardian with a big hammer, but we'll see. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.